Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com, our ongoing series of YouTube tutorials on our indicators, and I'm going to present to you a couple of new ones today. We're going to be looking at the expanded ratio histogram, which is a variant of our ratio histogram that we've described before, as well as these little orange dots, which just happen to be a show-me study of special crossover conditions that are bullish with using the expanded ratio histogram. And I think the easiest way to do it is to give you a brief view as to some of the inputs that are associated with it. And the easiest way to do that on TradeStation is just to right-click it, and we click Format. In this particular case, for the expanded ratio histogram, all you have is this little line here says orange and true. If you were to put that as false, and let's just go ahead and do that for the sake of argument, so that you can see it work, and down at the bottom there's an OK, and I'm going to click that. All it does is remove the line. And to put it back in place, you would just come back in and type in true. And the two other inputs were just to place the white line up here at plus 13.5 and negative 13.5. Makes them slightly adjustable. Some securities, a little thinner traded, may move a little bit more dramatically, and you may want to adjust those, and that just keeps that flexible. The next one is the show me study, which here is called the expanded ratio histogram show me, and you click format for that one. Now in this particular case, we have it colored orange. It doesn't come that way, so that will be something I can show you in a moment, how we would alter that for formatting purposes. But I wanted to go over some of the inputs. So here we have an MBI green sub-value. This is just an indication that says, okay, we're looking at our MBI indicator, and we need to start off, before even considering anything, with a value under 25 for the green line. So that's fairly straightforward. Red trend to go. So that would tell us basically how many bars it was before we turned from a green trend to a red trend. And here it's put as 1. I typically set it at 2 to 3, which just basically says is that you don't want to get a signal right after the trend has just changed to a different color. You want to see that there's more to it. The next one is the cyan above value, and in this case, if we're looking at the ratio histogram, this purple magenta line right here is the 8 value, so over that at 9 would start to be getting into an area where it might be considered a little too far into the extreme. A bad shakeout value at negative 20 to begin with, and we make that adjustable because using our shakeout indicator, if you're in the negative 20 category, you've gotten to a point where you've had extreme selling, and so oftentimes you want to stay away from what may appear to be a bullish setup at that particular point. ATR is just the average true range, the length of days that you want to consider, or periods, as far as the intraday trading goes. And the multiple sets how far the dot is using the ATR. So in this case, it's 2 times the ATR is where the dots appear. And that's all you need to know for now. The rest is insignificant. We may be using the values for up-down power in the future, but at this time, not necessary to make any adjustments for that. So those are the general inputs there, and you can see here that trend turned red, and then there's 1 bar, 2nd bar. So if I went back to format that and clicked 2, that bar should disappear, and it does. And that's simply how it would work as far as those level. And here we have another one where, let's find one where the shakeout value right here, the cyan, is at 685. So if we were to right-click over the dot, let's just lower that number to, say, 5. That should remove the dots in that particular case because it was over 5. And so that gives you an idea of some of the flexibility that you'll have with this overall setup in making adjustments to certain individual stocks. As far as an index goes, not as critical. But let's go ahead and put it on a chart straight up that doesn't have anything. And the easiest way to do that is you would right-click, insert analysis technique, and in this case the expanded ratio histogram indicator. We click that, and down at the bottom here is an OK button. Click that OK, and it takes me straight to the input. Fine, no issues with that. And then to the color. Now in this case, the X812 just is defaulting to a dark blue, but we want to put it as the orange color. So we click the other, and click orange, and I like it a little bit darker, so you go down the scale, you click OK. At the bottom of this there's also an OK. I click that, and boom, the indicator pops up, but we don't want it here because it just puts it right into price. So what you do is you right click, go back to the same formatting, we go to scaling, and it says same axis as the underlying security. We don't want that, we want to put it in a subgraph, so we just click no axis, and we click subgraph 2, and we can push OK at that particular point. If we didn't want the orange, we would put false in there, but for now that's fine. And here it is. Now you have a blank area here. If you right click that, the top area right here, you put a check mark into it and the values will show up on the right. You could put right axis or left axis. That would put the, if you put left axis, you would see all these numbers on the left side of your chart. So this installs our ratio histogram for the expanded version, and you can see that the value is set to true and where the two lines are. Next one we want to consider is the show me. So we go back to our insert analysis techniques. We click show me, and in this case we're going to look for the expanded ratio histo right here. We'll click OK to that one, and it brings us right to our values. Now we know that the dot's not going to appear the right color, but let's go ahead and just click OK with this and leave the settings as they are naturally. And then boom, there you can see that they've popped up. Okay, and we're missing a couple of dots. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at why. Because the default setting, okay, red trend is set at 2. We'll go ahead and move that to 1. Shakeout value at 20, you would have to go through and look, but that's fine for a daily chart. Intraday, you may have some very small time frames that will get negative 30 and 40 values for your shakeout, so something to bear in mind. But from this standpoint, if we just change that there, we get a couple of more dots that come in because of the trend value change. But we don't want it in blue, we want it in orange. So we go back to format, and we go to our color. And there it is where it's going to come up trade, and this is what would show up